everyone, welcome back to my channel. My host family just left for the weekend to stay with friends, so it's just me in the house tonight, and I thought I would throw myself a little Korean feast to commemorate being here for 3 months. So my French class is super diverse and there's people from all different countries, and there's actually a Korean lady, and the other day I was telling her how much I miss Korean food because when I was at home, my mom and grandma were always cooking, so there was always something Korean in the house to eat. And then the next class she came and brought some food to share and brought me a whole separate Tupperware of food to bring home. It was the kindest thing. I literally almost cried. It was so sweet of her. And so I'm going to heat that up and also make myself shinramyeon, one of these, which is my favorite. I thought it'd be fun to make all the food and then sit down and answer some reflection questions for myself, just thinking about the last 3 months and everything that I've learned so far, what I'm excited for in the remaining 7 months. So let's do it. Welcome to my mukbang. I'm so excited to eat this food right now. So grateful to my classmate in my French class, Misu, who literally went out of her way to bring me all of this. The only thing that's a little bit unfortunate is that my host family does not own chopsticks. So I'm gonna be eating all this food with a fork, which feels so wrong to me. I've literally never eaten kimchi with anything but chopsticks. But it's gonna be okay. We're gonna make do and we're gonna still enjoy the food. So I'm gonna dig in and then also go through some reflection questions that I found on the internet to just process my experience and talk about it a little bit and give you a little bit more of the internal insight. So yeah, let's eat. Let's take a look at the first question here. So I pulled a bunch of questions off of different lists for New Year's self-reflection. So I'm going to be substituting the whole year for just the last 3 months. The first question is, what have you found to energize you in the last 3 months? So something I feel like that was surprisingly energizing for me was journaling, because I honestly have never been really into journaling. I have heard from so many different people, so many different sources, how positive journaling can be for your life, and I really believe it. I just have never been able to get into it except for the last 3 months. When I first got here, the first 2 weeks were definitely difficult and I definitely struggled to kind of get my footing, and I really felt like I needed some outlet to process everything that I was feeling. And so I started journaling and journaled every day, at times twice a day for the first month. I feel like the release of emotions and expectations and really being able to verbalize all those things was energizing in kind of a deeper way than your typical energizing activity. So yeah, journaling has been super, super important to me for the last 3 months. I've gotten a little bit less consistent, so I don't journal every day, but I still feel like it has been really valuable for me to just process what I'm experiencing here. So the second question is, how have your priorities changed over the last 3 months? My priorities have definitely shifted. I think at the very beginning, I was very much focused on adjusting well and self-care, I guess, for lack of better words. Just because when you experience such a dramatic transition, so much is new, it can be very overwhelming, which was true for me for sure. And so you have to maintain some sense of continuity with who you were before because so many things are new, your roles and responsibilities, new culture, new language, etc. So I definitely prioritize giving myself a lot of grace and a lot of space to be able to rest and take time to do things that maybe are not super productive or super like exciting, but are important for your soul, to make sure you're not like overwhelming yourself with more new things or things that might increase your stress or anxiety. So I definitely started out really prioritizing that. However, now that I am much more adjusted, I'm in a good rhythm and routine, I feel so much more comfortable with everything really, with my host family, the language, my responsibilities here, even small things just like going to the grocery store and figuring out public transportation. I feel like now that all of that feels a little more normal, I have the capacity to push myself outside my comfort zone in other areas. And so I've definitely been prioritizing that a little bit more, pushing myself to do things that might be a little bit scary or that are new to me because I want to grow. I want to experience new things and not just stay in the same place. So yeah, priorities I would say definitely have shifted. Okay, third question. What accomplishments are you most proud of? I am definitely proud of a few things in myself. One, as simple as it sounds, is just simply not giving up. There were a couple moments, in all honesty, where I was like, I might just need to go home early, which is so crazy to say aloud because I never thought of myself as someone who would back down from this kind of new cultural experience, but I definitely struggled. And so there were moments where I was like, okay, if I need to go home, I can, whatever, which is really humbling to say out loud because I think I've always seen myself as just good at transition, strong, and like unaffected by, you know, what might be going on around me, even if my situation is really different or turbulent. And so I definitely was very humbled in these last 3 months and struggling with all of the different struggles that come with transition. But I think it's healthy. I think it's good to be humbled once in a while and to just have reminders that you aren't perfect and you can't really do everything on your own and you aren't, you know, perfectly strong and independent all of the time. The second thing is probably the amount of solo travel that I've done so far. It hasn't been a ton, but it's definitely a lot compared to what I've done before, which was pretty much zero. So obviously I've like been on a plane and been on road trips by myself, but it's always been to travel to a destination, to meet someone at that destination. It has never been, okay, let me take this train to another city and let me explore the city by myself. It started out pretty small, just exploring my town and doing some sightseeing and exploring. And then I did a day trip in Luxembourg, and then I leveled up even further and went to Paris by myself and stayed at a hostel. I think even a year ago, I wouldn't have believed that I would be solo traveling as much and to the degree that I am. I'm really proud of that accomplishment because I have always, I think, been scared to be alone kind of. And so going on an actual like trip by myself for the purpose of going by myself is definitely really different and was super scary at first, but I feel like was really fruitful and definitely left a lot of space for me to really think and reflect and be comfortable by myself. I think for most of my life, I was scared of being by myself and just really didn't like it. I couldn't even go do an errand at Target without like begging one of my siblings to go with me. And now I don't feel that way, and it is honestly really freeing. And so I'm really proud of that accomplishment of choosing to solo travel, getting up and like doing it and enjoying it. Yeah, I'm like pretty proud of that. Fourth question is, who needs to be acknowledged for being a part of your life the last 3 months? I love this question. There are so many people I could say that I am so grateful for, but I'll keep it short and I'll focus in on my immediate family, specifically my parents. I'm very close with both of them, and they have literally just been such a steady presence the last 3 months. They always pick up my FaceTimes. They're always texting me, telling me that they're thinking of me, praying for me. My mom sends me letters. My dad sends me songs he's listening to. They have truly just been such an incredible support to me. So, Mom and Dad, if you're watching this, I love you guys so very much. So I definitely want to acknowledge both of my parents. The fifth and final question is a little bit long, but I thought it was very thought-provoking, and so I wanted to include it. And it's, are there any habits or patterns that you believe held you back in the past 3 months, and how can you work to transform them in the coming months? Something I think that has always plagued me, and not just the last 3 months, but just in my life in general, is the ability to convince myself out of doing things that I either want to do deep down inside or that would be good for me, but I'm able to rationalize out of it because it's scary to me, or it feels like too big of a risk, or I just don't want to be uncomfortable. I think I give myself kind of invisible checkpoints almost that blockade me from trying new things. I think I tell myself, at this point in your photography business, at this point in your language learning, then you can do this, or then you will be capable enough to do the next thing. But most things in life just don't go in such a black and white sequential order. One of the things that I really was hesitating to do was to join or go to anything that would be fully in French, because I arrived here knowing no French. And I'm in classes, so obviously right now I know a lot more than I did 3 months ago. But anytime there was something that I was invited to, where there was an opportunity for me to go somewhere that would be totally French speaking, I would tell myself, okay, once you've had a semester of classes, or once you know a little bit more French and you understand more, you can go. Part of learning a language is literally just stumbling through and not knowing what's going on. And if I were to wait until I understand everything, then I would never go anywhere. I would never go out, and I would never even give myself the opportunity to learn through the stumbling through, if that makes sense. And so language learning is just an example, but I feel like that rings true for a lot of other areas of my life. I think I really limit myself in doing new things and trying stuff that might be scary at first and there might be a risk. And so I think I really am in a just go for it era. I want to take more risks. I want to do more things that push me outside my comfort zone and that I might not excel at first, but that's kind of the whole point, is to do things that you aren't good at and then to learn and get better and improve with time, which this is one of the things that I have always told myself. Once I reach this certain type of life or this certain point in my life, then maybe I'll try my hand at making videos or documenting. And then I realized, you know what? If I keep telling myself that, I'm gonna go my whole life and never document anything. And I want to document things. And so that's part of the reason I'm starting this channel, is to start documenting my life, even though I'm not I haven't arrived at the place that I want to be. You're never gonna arrive at the place that you want to be. There's always gonna be something that you can be better in and that you can improve in yourself. And so, yeah, that's definitely something in the following months that I will be here that I'm going to be working on, and hopefully for the rest of my life as well. So yeah, that's it for my little mukbang Q&R. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.